Hi, it's me, Artemis, and welcome back to my channel. To my random ramblings. Today will definitely be a rambling because this is not a rant. This is just this is just a thought that I've had that I saw somebody online somewhere say. It was like, make your art even if it's bad, and I definitely agree with the sentiment because I feel like in the last couple of years, we have seen, especially on TikTok, a rise in like hating on stuff that's not explicitly like hyper realistic art. And I think that you can have good art even if it's not the most skilled art. And at the end of the day, art is supposed to be something that you personally like, something that you personally are fulfilled by, and something that you personally enjoyed creating. And if you enjoyed creating it, why does it matter whether it's not the most technically skilled or whether somebody else likes it? Which is why whenever I see all these like little kids online, or not little kids, but like teenagers, like the teenagers that would be considered cringe or weird, like a couple years, not even a couple years ago, but like pre-COVID, those people who like are always drawing, like that is cool, and people I remember would just relentlessly bully them. But yeah, those people were also my friends, so I was extra like you suck to the bullies, especially because now, like then I would always be like, oh yeah, no, don't listen to them, like your art's great, whatever. And even if I didn't think it was the most technically skilled, because that's kind of the point of my video, like you can still have great art and not be the most technically skilled. And now they have all the technical skills and they're the coolest people and are amazing artists and are going to do great things. So it's like, just don't be mean to people. And that's just not fair. And I remember thinking, oh well, I personally don't like that art style that much, like that early in your art journey art style where your proportions maybe aren't the best, right? The renderings maybe not the best, but you're still trying, because at the end of the day, practice is what makes perfect. And if you keep at it, you're going to be great one day. And so I really despise when people say, oh well, that's not even that good, because, well, one, you can't make better. I know I certainly can. I'm not very good at drawing or painting. I mean, I have like stuff on my walls that I made that people, when they see, they like it, but it's like, that is stuff that I made that's abstract. It doesn't require a lot of skill to make it, and it's mostly about the colors interacting, and a lot of them faded over time. But when I made them, they made me feel nice. It was nice to make something with your own hands that you can display. And a lot of them have like different meanings or different feelings I wanted to convey that really would only generally be understood by me. And that's okay. And I think that looking at someone's art and immediately trying to tear it down because you don't think it's like the most skilled thing is horrible. Especially now, because when people are getting like to that really highly skilled level from years and years of practice, because it doesn't just happen overnight, and spending hours and hours. Because I always thought, oh well, these people are making this stuff fast, because when I would spend a lot of time on something, yeah, I could make something that looked good, like genuinely really good, but it would take forever, and I just didn't have the patience for that. And I was like, this is not, like, I got this one part done and I still have the rest of this to go. This is not for me. And I'm just thinking, oh, that means I suck. But then when I'm looking at everybody else that's doing these amazing things, they're spending 60 hours on one drawing, and I'm just not willing to do that. So when you see people say, oh well, that's just AI, it really grinds my gears, because you're mad at people when you don't like their art, when you don't think it's technically skilled, and you're mad at them when you think it's so technically skilled that it couldn't possibly have been made by a human. Both are incredibly insulting, especially when you're not doing anything. It also reminds you that everything the art is supposed to make you feel something, right? There are so many different forms of art. Pottery is art. Like, makeup can be art. I mean, I would consider what I do to, like, my masks and stuff, I decorate them. In my opinion, that's art, because it makes me feel something. It gives me a sense of calm, and evokes a sense of, like, well, I said in my first video, whimsy. It evokes a sense of whimsy, right? That's a feeling that it gives me. And I remember I saw this video, and it was this girl, and she was like, these are things I made for my art class that were rejected. And they were these really technically detailed pieces, very, like, pieces that would take a lot of skill and a lot of time to make. But they didn't really say anything. Like, the compositions weren't that interesting. The colors weren't that interesting. And this is not me being like, oh, this sucks. Because I don't think it sucks. I think it's very impressive. But you're wondering why you didn't get a good grade on it. That's why you didn't get a good grade. You're in art school, right? I think that your teacher might know something. That's not to say that everything that they said is right and great and amazing, but it's more than just having the skills. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that. Like, and that's why they're so keen to try to tear someone down. So whenever I see those teenagers or, like, middle schoolers online drawing something, and I don't think, that's maybe not the most technically skilled. I think they're very brave, and they will be, like, they're very talented, because one day you're gonna have those skills, and it's gonna look exactly the way you want. And it takes a lot of courage to post something online when people are very mean on the internet, and I think that that's very cool of you to do. And I always try to like and subscribe, or just like the video. And also, those people always have great taste in music. They always have great songs on their videos, so that's also an upside. But yeah, I just think that people need to take a moment to really think about what they define as art. Because even books, like, people don't generally consider books to be art, but they are. It takes a lot of skill to write something well and artfully. And I remember somebody said, I always say that, I remember I heard this, I remember somebody said this, but it's true. I'm chronically online, and just always in various random places on the internet. But I remember somebody said, well, the art that, or the writing that AI makes is good to you, and it's better than anything you could make, because you don't practice, like, you don't write. And this was in response to people saying, oh, this writing must be fake, it's too good. Which I find to be true. Because instead, I feel like AI finds interesting ways to say things that have already been said. But, or like, they substitute one word for a cooler word, right? And so they have vast access to vocabulary. But a truly good writer finds a way to say something in a way that has never been said before. So instead of just saying they were using a simple simile, like, this was as blah 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 as this, or this was like this, to convey something, a really good writer would find some just completely new way to say it. And I can't give you an example off the top of my head, because I'm not a super amazing talented writer. But, like, I do the AI version, where it's like, I find a way to say something but in a more interesting way. Or my strength is in developing ideas and arguments. It's not so much in the flowery language, and I'm very not concise. I'm the opposite of concise, if you couldn't tell. But I feel like really good writers find a way to say something new. And yeah, and that's an art. So yeah, there's so many different types of art. There's so many things you can do. Performance art, a lot of the times I'm like, I'm not gonna say it's not art, but I would say, like, if the point of art is to make you feel something, like, yeah, it makes me feel something. It makes me feel like I want you to, like, go away, please, because this is really uncomfortable a lot of the time. But a lot of them do say something about our society, like, and so in that sense, it's art because I can get an interpretation from it. Like, I get what you're trying to say, and you are definitely eliciting reaction, not just from me, but from other people. But I don't think it's the same as, like, a traditional art. But I feel like a lot of times when people think of traditional art, they only think of drawing. They only think of painting. They don't think of anything else. And other things are traditional arts. So that novelist, they're an artist. The poet, they're an artist. The musician is an artist. On that note, if a musician is making contrived, recycled music, they're not an artist. They are a person who makes music, but you're not doing anything new or innovative, so you're not really an artist. As my mom would say, you are a hack. But that's why it's better to just try to just make something, and even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way you want, you still gain something from that, and that's still art. So in the end, just, like, make what you want, do what you want to do, and have a great day, continue to have a great night, and yeah, a great life. Bye.